What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after four friends who were all drunk left the bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 22nd day of November in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and this is what we're tracking tonight. The Guyana Elections Commission today revealed that the official list of electors has grown to 718,715 persons and is expected to grow even more as continuous registration has been taking place. The opposition has been voicing its concerns about the size of the voters' list and the need for the list to be cleansed ahead of next year's elections. At a press conference this afternoon, Deputy Chief Election Officer Anil Giddings stated that after the next claims and objections period in January, a new official list of electors will be compiled, and the number of persons on that list is expected to grow.
Obviously, after CNO in January coming, there will be a new official list of electors which will be further updated.
The Deputy Chief Election Officer also revealed that there have been more than 28,000 new registrations recorded for the year. However, he could not provide the details of the new registrants as it relates to those who were born in Guyana as against Commonwealth citizens and those who are naturalized citizens. He said that information will be provided at a later date. With a growing list of electors and concerns about its size as compared to the country's population of just over 750,000, the chairman of GCOM, retired Justice Claudia Singh, reminded of the ruling of the Chief Justice with regard to the removal of non-residents from the list. She said GCOM is being guided by that ruling, which does not allow it to remove persons from the list although they may no longer be resident in Guyana. The GCOM chair said there has been no appeal of that ruling, and so the ruling stands.
That decision was never repealed. It was never appealed, in fact. It was never appealed. It's the law now. The Chief Justice ruled that we cannot remove the names from the list. Simply put, and notwithstanding any agitation by any stakeholder, GCOM cannot act beyond its statutory authority.
On the issue of dead persons on the list, Chief Election Officer Vishnu Prasad said for the period January to April of this year, the Chief Medical Officer and the Commissioner of Police have informed the Commission of more than 1,000 deaths. And based on that information, the Commission found 1,018 persons as deceased. However, a verification process is still to be completed.
In 2022, when the Representation of the People Act was amended, provision was made for the Chief Medical Officer and the Commissioner of Police to submit reports to GCOM providing particulars pertaining to persons who they may have recorded as being deceased. We have received a report each from both of these agencies for the period January to April 2024. I have reminded them of the need to keep giving us these reports on a regular basis, and I'm aware that this is a work in progress. Now, in relation to the first two reports that we have received, we have processed these reports and we have found that as of this time, there are 1,080 names reported of persons reported as deceased, but who we have not had the chance to verify as yet, simply because we do not have an approved methodology that could be used to so do. And therefore you may ask why. Let me say that in this regard, a methodology was prepared and put before the Commission for approval so that we can proceed to verify these persons and then take the consequential action. The discussion on that proposal got held up due to the introduction of another aspect wherein it was put on the table that we should also consider how we can develop a process to treat with registrants who may have died overseas.
Another burning issue that has been shadowing the Elections Commission is the issue of biometrics and the calls by some political parties for biometrics to be introduced for voting as an added level of security. The GCOM chair, Justice Claudette Singh, said that issue is still before the commission and she would not want to say too much on it. But back in 2019, the then head of GCOM's Information Technology Department, Anil Giddings, who is now the Deputy Chief Election Officer, had completed a report on the introduction of biometrics for the Elections Commission and timelines associated with that introduction. The current GCOM chairman was not the chairman at the time, and today she says she's unaware of that report. With the Vice President recently stating that the Commission should be ready for elections by August of next year, the Chief Election Officer today indicated that the Commission is still to formally receive any notification about the timeline for the next elections, and as such, it has not yet put systems into motion. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a 100% owned Guyanese company that specializes in supporting the growing oil and gas industry in Guyana. We do this by providing procurement services, civil and engineering services, facilities maintenance, janitorial, equipment rental, and servicing. Phoenix offers a wide range of products such as HDP bottles, cotton rags, Turkish towels, as well as absorbent pads as well, which we supply to the oil and gas industry. We also do engineering, so this ranges from the design to the actual construction of the projects. Phoenix Oilfield Services and Engineering Inc. is a proud local support company for the oil and gas sector, providing excellence in every experience.
Honey, what are you doing? Let's cash out. Let's cash out.
Shop $5,000 or more at any Massey stores for a chance to win a 2024 Nissan Qashqai Sense and $100,000 every 2 weeks with Massey Stores Christmas Jackpot Promotion.
The Global Super League has arrived. It's time for the Amazon Warriors to face their toughest test yet. Support your Warriors as they take on cricket powerhouses from Australia, Bangladesh, England and Pakistan. Tickets are available now at the box office or online at GSLT20.com. the ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. You don't want to miss this.
As the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, wrapped up his state visit to Guyana on Thursday, his government indicated its strong interest in Guyana's oil and gas sector. India's Minister of External Affairs, Secretary Jaideep Mazumdar, said with an estimated 11 billion barrels of proven oil reserves, Guyana's oil and gas sector holds great promise, and India stands ready to invest in the country's offshore blocks.
We would be interested in participating in the exploration and production phase as well. Our oil companies are certainly looking at this, and if they do get an opportunity, they would be willing to invest, as we have invested in many countries of the world, far from the shores of India.
The Indian government has also expressed a desire to purchase crude oil directly from the Guyana government on a long-term basis. It was encouraged to submit a proposal. However, though it has sold at least one of its oil lifts to India, Guyana said at this time it is not interested in such a long-term contractual arrangement. On Thursday, Mazumdar said the interest remains the same.
I would expect that as the volumes available to the Guyanese side in terms of crude and gas availability rise, they would be in a position to enter into longer term contracts, because those are things that will help us to offtake larger volumes in a more predictable way and make our transportation of such large volumes also economically feasible.
And emphasizing the importance of having greater predictability in the purchasing of crude oil, the Indian government official said the ball is in Guyana's court. In the interim, the two countries have signed a memorandum of understanding to strengthen cooperation in hydrocarbon trade and petroleum products. That MOU encompasses investment promotion, technology transfer, joint studies, and capacity building across the entire hydrocarbon value chain. The agreement also underscores a shared commitment to fostering energy security and advancing mutual development priorities between India and Guyana. While the Guyana government is putting businesses involved in selling expired goods and altering expiration dates and products on notice, and is warning them of severe penalties that they will face once caught in the act. On Thursday, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo expressed worry that the business of selling expired goods has now grown into an industry in Guyana. He said the government will not allow it to continue.
Too many businessmen are ripping people off by bringing in not just substandard goods, but goods that are near expiration date that they get for cheap. They're not selling the goods cheap here. They just bring them in so that their profit margins can be bigger. And then some of them actually change the date, the expiration date. They're putting at risk the people of this country and children and everyone.
At his weekly press conference, Mr. Jagdeo said he has also found himself falling victim to the problem, and he revealed that he was once served an expired beverage at a city hotel. He said an investigation by the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department confirmed that the beverage had expired approximately 6 months before it was served to him, and the expiration date was altered to reflect a later date. It was linked to a business on the east coast of Demerara. With expired goods flooding the local markets, the vice president suspects that there may be some level of corruption involved, either at the level of the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department or the Customs Department of the Guyana Revenue Authority.
But it seems as though some people are turning a blind eye to this, or there may be corruption involved. Weakness in monitoring or corruption involved. That's why I agree with this article. And it's putting people at risk. It's putting people at risk.
Mr. Jagdeo said the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department and the Customs Department must come under great scrutiny for allowing the expired goods industry to flourish. He said the act of selling expired goods is intolerable and unconscionable, adding that all involved must be held accountable. The issue was recently raised by the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce, which had pointed to the increasing number of counterfeit, expired, and inappropriately labeled goods on the market. In its statement, the Chamber of Commerce called on the Bureau of Standards and the Government Analyst Food and Drug Department to ensure that an investigation is conducted and products found to be in contravention of the laws and regulations removed from the shelves and prohibited from sale. It also called on the Guyana Revenue Authority through its Customs Department to ensure all goods being cleared after import meet regulatory requirements. The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce said there is also the need for greater adherence to tax laws by a number of businesses to ensure equal application of the rule of law to all businesses and enterprises operating here in the country.
The Guyana Elections Commission GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31st, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Types of transactions. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were last registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID cards. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of the above transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who are already registered could request that their photographs be retaken if the quality of the photographs on their ID cards is unacceptable. Collect their new ID cards if they have not done so as yet. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, please contact GCOM on the following hotline numbers: 225-027729, 226-6557, 223-9650, or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
The Global Super League has arrived. It's time for the Amazon Warriors to face their toughest test yet. Support your Warriors as they take on cricket powerhouses from Australia, Bangladesh, England and Pakistan. Tickets are available now at the box office or online at gslT20.com. The ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League. You don't want to miss this.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
accusing the government of sidelining the opposition during the Indian Prime Minister's state visit to Guyana. The opposition today said it will dispatch an official correspondence to the Prime Minister chronicling its treatment. At the Congress Place press conference, opposition member of Parliament Ganesh Mahipal said while the visit by the Indian Prime Minister was deeply appreciated, the opposition did not have the privilege of engaging the Prime Minister, as was done in 2019 when the President of Ghana visited Guyana for an official state visit under the APNU-AFC administration. Mahipal explained that with the exception of listening to his address during Thursday's special sitting of the National Assembly, the opposition was not invited to the other official engagements involving the Indian Prime Minister. Mahipal said the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton's encounter with Prime Minister Modi was by chance.
I want to say that Prime Minister Modi's visit, the opposition was not informed officially, was not invited to any activity officially, and did not participate in any engagement with Prime Minister Modi officially. The picture that we see circulating with the leader of the opposition and Prime Minister Modi is a picture that was taken after Prime Minister Modi and the leader of the opposition happened to have exited the dome of the National Assembly through the same door.
It was explained that ahead of Prime Minister Modi's address to the National Assembly, the opposition parliamentarians were informed by the Parliament's office that there were to be no handshakes, only a single photo opportunity with the Speaker and the 65 members of Parliament.
So it was done with complete disdain for the parliamentary opposition, his visit. It was unfortunate. It is not something that should be tolerated by any functioning democracy that believes strongly, especially in this case where the PPP is trying to say that they're doing everything democratically correct.
Mr. Mahipal pointed out that during the state visit to Guyana by the President of Ghana back in 2019, there was no hiding of the President from the then opposition. According to him, it was therefore wicked for the PP civic government to hide Modi from the opposition. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his address to the National Assembly, spoke of the importance of putting democracy and humanity first, noting that in the absence of inclusivity, there can be no true democracy. Opposition member Mahipal said the Indian Prime Minister left these shores without getting a true reflection of the present-day challenges facing Guyanese, and the opposition will be sure to inform him of that in an official letter about the ruling party's undemocratic stance, he noted. In the world of business and finance, Vice President Bharat Jagdeo has announced that the government is in talks with American multinational investment bank Citibank about the possibility of establishing a representative office here in Guyana. The government had hoped for Citibank to establish a commercial branch here, but with correspondent banking relations in the Latin America and Caribbean region under decline due to the perception that the region is a high-risk jurisdiction, the chances of that happening in the near future appears very slim. The Vice President said Guyana is lucky to have been able to maintain good correspondent relations with U.S. institutions and looks forward to the establishment of a Citibank representative office here in the country.
We had discussions with Citi about the possibility of having a commercial bank here. And they told us they've exited the entire retail banking in the entire Latin America. The only place they had a presence in was in Mexico, and I think they may exit that too. So that's retail banking. But they're still open to a representative office here in Guyana, which would allow them to be able to provide loans to Guyanese business through a representative office.
A representative office of a bank facilitates market research and public demand for products, but does not carry out banking or financial activities. However, Mr. Jagdeo believes that through the representative office, Citibank would be able to provide loans to Guyanese businesses. He also said he has been in discussions with the bankers, and soon the government will move to the National Assembly to have a piece of legislation passed to allow banks to expand the use of movable collateral to securitize loans. It is also anticipated that with Guyana transitioning into a digital society, the country may be better able to deal with intermediate credit in the future.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guy is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyana's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guy Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by December 31, 2024 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Where to apply for registration? You are required to visit the registration office that is responsible for the registration of persons in your area of residence to apply for registration. Office hours, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 12 hours, 13 hours to 16 hours 30, and Friday from 8 to 12 hours and 13 to 15 hours 30. The offices will be closed on weekends and holidays. This registration exercise will end on November 29, 2024. For further information, contact GCOM on 225-027729 or visit the website www.gcom.org.gy.
What was supposed to be a night of celebration turned into disaster after 4 friends who were all drunk left a bar in the city without a designated driver. Designate a driver. Don't drink and drive.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look. You know the one. Or one touch. Even one word. I can start with one step. Or one promise. One thrill. One first time. One deep breath. One leap of faith. One day to remember. Or one night to forget. One moment. So many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life. Just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Across the region tonight, former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro plotted a coup to overturn the 2022 election, along with dozens of ex-ministers and senior aides, the federal police in Brazil said in a formal accusation filed yesterday with the country's Supreme Court. The final police report caps a nearly 2-year investigation into Bolsonaro's role in the election-denying movement that culminated in riots by his supporters that swept Brasilia, the capital, back in January 2023, just a week after his rival, President Lula da Silva, took office. Many protesters at the time said they wanted to create chaos to justify a military coup, which they considered imminent. Earlier this week, police arrested 5 alleged conspirators suspected of planning to assassinate Lula before he took office. Investigators found evidence Bolsonaro knew of that alleged plan, according to police sources familiar with the investigations. In Haiti, police and civilian self-defense groups killed 28 gang members in the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince in an overnight operation, authorities said. Officers stopped a truck carrying gang members in the wealthy suburb of Pétionville about 2 o'clock in the morning, while a bus ferrying gang members was intercepted in the city center. The police opened fire in both encounters, killing 10 and then chased down those who fled with the help of self-defense groups formed by residents opposed to the gangs and their violent rule over swaths of the country. Last year, in a gruesome chapter of vigilante reprisals, a dozen alleged gang members were stoned and burned alive by residents in the capital of Haiti. Well-armed gangs control some 80% of the city, routinely targeting civilians, despite the Kenyan-led international force that has been deployed to help the outgunned police. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could face arrest if he travels to the United Kingdom after an international arrest warrant was issued for him. A British government spokesman refused to comment on a specific case but said the government would fulfill its legal obligations. On Thursday, the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu, along with Israel's former defense minister Yoav Gallant, over alleged war crimes in Gaza. The court's member countries, including the UK, have signed a treaty that obliges them to act on arrest warrants. Asked whether Netanyahu would be detained if he entered the UK, the Prime Minister's office spokesman refused to comment on hypotheticals. However, he stated the government would fulfill its obligations under the Act, and indeed its legal obligations. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight and this week. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night and a good weekend.